Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and like usual, there's a new Sailor Moon Crystal episode, and I should actually check it out, and I did. So this episode is episode 12, Enemy Queen Metalia. It started where it ended last, and it looks like Queen Beryl was sorry, it was Tuxedo Mask. She said Tuxedo Mask was revived with Queen Metalia's power, which caused him to turn evil, unlike previously, which I think previously was the same exact deal, kind of. So yeah, similarities and some differences. Yeah, I mean, yeah, one, he was kidnapped or he was taken against his will in the previous series, and in this series he was knocked out, and that's when Queen Metalia had to come in and use her power to actually wake him back up. Well, anyways, so Sailor Jupiter finally got up, transformed, and have their back. And again, Sailor Mercury actually made another shield, which the shield, I'm not sure what the shield actually did. I'm sure that the shield protected the command center, but I'm not sure if it actually transported them somewhere else. Which, yeah, they didn't transport somewhere else. Yeah, they were still in the command center. Yeah, so Queen Beryl used her hair as bindings, which you guys know about all Sailor Moon monsters. Usually, when it's a bad guy, when it's like a supreme bad guy or a bad guy who is important and doesn't get destroyed like in one single episode, the bad guy who is stronger than that usually use their hand, or in this case, Queen Beryl would actually have a wand she uses with dark power and blast them. But instead, she actually used her hair, which basically shows how flunky she is. It shows how flunky she really is now because, yeah, she's using her hair as the bindings, not using her magic and binding them. That's, yeah, I mean, technically, in my personal opinion, that is kind of like downgrading her. But, anyways, the backstory is surfacing again. And of course, we get the fact of Queen Beryl was revived as well. So, besides all of the Sailor Scouts who were actually taken out in the Silver Millennium saga, they also revived. Chances are, I bet even the four knights were there. Maybe. But we don't really know of that right now. But still, she was revived as well as many others. So she got put in as well. Unknown if it was actually Queen Serenity's doing, or the fact of Queen Metalia's like, I'm not done with you yet, and she kept her safe. Not sure. But anyways, so the sword actually came in handy, cutting freaking Beryl's hair off so they can fight. And it turns out they have a new concept. The fact that her necklace is the reason why she's super powerful. The necklace is the empowering thing that helps Queen Metalia give her power. And as soon as they wreck it and destroy it, well, guess what? It looks like she is forever gone. It is kind of like exactly what happens in season 2 of the original series. The fact of Cardians and Negamoon actually has gemstones, and as soon as the gemstones are worn out because the monster died, they turn black. And the Cardians as well, it turned black. I'm really hoping that when season 2 comes out, they actually will take one of the Cardians that they find on the ground and examine it. I would love to see how that goes. I would love how to see that. But anyways, we get to see that the silver legendary crystal has more times to shine in this one, unlike in the previous series. The fact of this legendary silver crystal was used, I think, twice. First, it was able to revive Endymion, Darien, Momo, whatever you want to call him. That was the first time, and the second time was used when it was the final showdown between Queen Beryl and Sailor Moon. But it looks like in this version, it's going to be a way different. Way different. And I'm so excited to actually see how this goes. So anyways, besides that, Beryl watched over him apparently. Yeah, it's just like the old series, the fact that Queen Beryl admits that she likes him. Yeah, but in this version, she actually had like a secret love. She actually spied from afar, giving her a little bit more of a backstory, unlike the previous series where it's. Yeah, previous story could use a little bit more data. Well, anyways, now we get to hear the great power of the moon. So I guess most likely great power of the moon is going to be what happens in a showdown between Queen Metalia and Sailor Moon because well, Queen Beryl is now dead. Queen Beryl is dead. She is gone. Yeah. So yeah, Queen Metalia is now the true leader. Of course, she was the leader in the beginning. She just used Queen Beryl as a pawn. And guess what? She is now using Mamo-chan as the newest pawn because well, Queen Beryl got defeated. So now they have to have a brand new person, and that's what happens. And I wouldn't say this was a showdown, but it's a confrontation between Usagi and Mamo-chan. And again, we get to see the Sailor Scouts actually use their energy bubble technique to make it through the North Pole. And this point of, yeah, this time, at this exact time within the old series, you actually have Artemis and Luna on a rooftop somewhere. Yeah, and you have Luna basically crying out saying, I don't want them to die again. We need to pull them out. You guys don't need to do this. Yeah, and this time I'll explain that when I get to it, but still, at this point, they were actually on a rooftop somewhere. In this new series, they actually still have a command center, and they're actually in the command center. Which, yeah, they made the command center more and more useful than the previous, yeah, the previous series. My goodness, the only thing that was in the command center was just using the arcade game to talk to each other. That's about it. Yeah, now they have the ultimate showdown. I was waiting for this one. We got a little taste previously in one of the episodes, but this time we truly get to have the showdown. The generals versus the scouts. I think it was very, very good, but I technically wanted it more like Dragon Ball Z style. That one person's fought hand-to-hand combat, the other person's doing hand-to-hand combat. I wanted that. That's what I really truly wanted, but this is close enough to what we should get, I guess. It's close enough. But anyways, in the previous series, they all made it to the North Pole, and then they all were together, but one by one they were taken apart by it's the Dee girls apparently, which I just called them the Monster Sisters, but okay, Dee girls. So the Dee girls took them out one by one until Usagi is the last person left. And then that's who, well, technically it was Usagi, Mamo-chan, and Queen Beryl who was actually there. Yeah, so like I said, since it's now the generals and not actually the Dee girls, that means there's no crystallized death. Oh, they did something much more unbelievable. So it looks like previous episode, same episode where we actually got a little taste of the four generals versus the four Sailor Scouts. We also get to see that Tuxedo Mask get to have a piece of the legendary silver crystal. So that's what was the light that we saw. The part that you don't really know, or just the fact of Queen Beryl, or technically Queen Metalia looks stupid, it's just the fact of, so you figured the legendary silver crystal is inside of his body, but yet you couldn't find it. But it turns out he does have a piece of it inside of him, which is quite funny. And I guess that might be a nod to the part 2 of season 1, the fact of the crystal beasts, because the crystal beast actually did have a piece of a legendary silver crystal inside of him. So I guess that is a little secret nod to him. So that's good. Yeah, and this point, this is where Luna's actually encouraging Sailor Moon, unlike what happened previously, which is Luna saying, please don't die this time. It's not fair for you guys to die again. Yeah, so the confrontation got a little bit more touchy than usual. Well, technically it just got a little bit more touchy than previously. So yeah, you had that, and it looks like the scouts were overwhelmed like before. The fact of the DD girls were able to take them out. The generals were able to repel them and stop them from going forward to save the princess. And then, oh yeah, then they try to get them to understand or at least remember what happened. And guess what? Sailor Planet Attack yet again is revealed. Yeah, they did that the first time they went against them first. So, in a memory, we now get to have even more information about these guys. You have Zoisite, who is the Prince of Purification and Healing. Kunsight, who is the Knight of Purity and Affection. That makes sense because of the previous series. That makes sense. The affection part makes sense. Jedi, who is the Prince of Patience and Harmony. I guess the patience kind of makes sense. And Nephrite with the Knight of Intelligence and Comfort, which he did give Naru-chan comfort in the previous series. And he was smart as well. Yeah, he was very, very clever. He was trying to find the crystals himself, and then Zoisite got word, and then the big backstab. So it turns out this is the true meaning of their names. They told the scouts their true meaning of their names a long time ago. And as soon as the generals turn good and they know who they're supposed to rely with, guess what happens? Queen Metalia straight up obliterated them. She just straight up obliterated them. What? Really? Oh man, I'd rather prefer to what happened in the previous series. The fact that one by one they got taken out. Yeah, but all together taken down. I guess that brings and nails the idea of teamwork. That's what they're really doing here. Teamwork. If they all fall together or have victory together, they also die together. So, yeah, they're gone. Wow. Wow, that's just messed up. Well, anyways, so Queen Serenity shows up to Princess Serenity and gives her words of knowledge and stuff and tell her you know what you have to do. And then in a messed up, unbelievable, twisted ending, you have the Romeo and Juliet syndrome. I would say quote unquote syndrome. The fact of Romeo killed himself and then Juliet killed herself. Yeah, so you know how the story goes, but this time it's more like for the good of all mankind, I have to kill you. So she killed or slashed Mono-chan, and then she stabbed herself. Whoa. Yeah, now we know that this series definitely will go to Adult Swim if it ever actually gets shown on TV, because ooh, you really want kids to actually see Sailor Moon stab herself or technically do suicide? My goodness, my goodness. Now I don't know which ending is really, really less harsh. I mean, seeing all the Sailor Scouts actually die, or just the fact of the leader, Sailor Moon, the main character, actually killed herself. Straight up killed herself. My goodness. My goodness. Well, anyways, so this is a very, very crazy event that just happened here. So, anyways, this is the crazy episode that happened here, but I do have to admit that this episode really, really took it to a tailspin, and I still say this is a good series and definitely watch it. Definitely watch this episode. So the link for this episode is down below. I also will have the ending finale for season 1 down below too. And chances are I will also have the Deke kid-friendly version of season 1 finale down there below too. So anyways, thank you for watching, and of course stay tuned because I will continue doing these episodes until they end, which will be sad, but I will be so interested how season 2 goes. I just hope that when season 2 happens, that season 2 on Hulu because they're showing all of the Sailor Moon episodes. I hope it's completed there before they start, so at least I can compare instead of being like, they didn't go to that episode yet, or they didn't reveal me that episode, and I'm most likely to have to go back and talk about it later. But anyways, thank you for watching, and I am webbing out. Peace.